The Invisible Man.
Yes.
From 1933.
One of my favorites.
Yes, starring Claude Rains.
He was great as the Invisible Man.
Yes, he was.
And he was also great as Captain Renault in Casablanca.
Oh, yeah.
One of my favorite movies.
I love that, yeah. Another thing about Claude Rains.
Well, hold off if you don't mind.
Okay.
On your Claude Rains facts.
Okay.
We have a lot of illustration to cover.
Right.
Because we tried some new stuff this week.
Yes.
So you can hit me up with your Claude Rains tidbits as we go along.
Okay.
But first, let me point out, if you may notice,
Yeah.
I'm using a brush to ink the lines.
I did notice
Yeah,
that.
and if you further notice,
Yeah.
I'm not using my old 20-year-old
Oh.
janky brush with the horrible bristles.
You're not.
When I did the Iron Giant,
Right.
I told you then that I was enjoying inking with a brush.
Yes.
And that I was going to order some new ones.
Right.
To see if it got a little easier.
Right.
Well, the new ones came in.
Oh, good.
I think this is the Winsor Newton
Right.
Series 7 Sable brush.
Okay.
Number 1, I believe.
Oh, number 1. Okay.
I'll put that info down
Yes.
in the box.
Good.
Well, we started drawing monsters and villains.
Right.
And I started with pens.
Yes.
Doing a lot of hatch work.
Right.
I usually ink digitally. So
Oh,
I
that's
wanted
right,
to try
yeah.
to do it with natural media.
Yeah.
And then we moved from pens to the brush pens.
Right.
And really, it was all an attempt to get back to brushing my lines.
Right.
To inking with a brush. And I'm happy to say that
Oh, good.
I brushed just about every single line
Oh.
in this Invisible Man drawing
Wow.
with this new brush of mine.
That's great.
There were a couple times I used the pen for very, very fine details.
Oh, okay.
It's minimal, though.
Yeah.
So we're making progress.
That's great. So you're comfortable with it now.
I'm a little more comfortable with it.
Good.
I'm no expert, clearly.
Right,
I'm no
okay.
expert, but I'm getting a little more comfortable.
Good.
Now, you remember when we inked the spooky space
Yes,
kook,
I do.
Scooby's villain,
Yes.
and I tried ink wash for the very first time.
Right.
Well, that led to a lot of other ink wash pieces.
Oh, good.
And
Right.
I thought that it would look good on this Invisible Man.
Oh, nice.
And again, much like brushing my lines,
Yeah.
practicing with the ink wash has made me a little more comfortable
Oh, that's great.
with it.
Yeah.
And I felt a little more confident doing this.
Good.
All right, why don't you throw me one of your Claude Rains tidbits?
Okay. He was married 6 times.
6 times!
I know, right?
Holy cow!
I know.
You'd think he'd give up after 3
Right?
or 4.
Stop trying it.
Oh my gosh, that's perseverance.
It really is.
Well, you know what? We're all about perseverance here.
Yes.
Michelle.
Right?
Here at
We
Long
are.
Lost Friends Studios, where I keep trying new stuff
Yeah.
and keep trying to get better.
That's
Look,
true.
I'm no expert.
Right.
Never claimed to be one.
Right?
But I am getting a little better each time we do something new.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah. So here's the completely ink-washed Invisible Man. And I really
Yeah.
could have stopped here. I really kind of
Yeah.
like the way
you
this
could've.
turned out.
What was that on the ground?
Well, let me show you what's on the ground. It's his nose, you nosy Parker!
It is his nose.
So remember when we did The Creature from the Black Lagoon?
I do remember.
That was the first time that I put watercolors down over an ink wash.
Yeah.
And I thought that the Invisible Man would be a great opportunity to try that technique again.
That's great.
So we'll see how that turns out.
Okay.
In the meantime,
Yeah?
let's have another Claude Rains
Oh,
fact.
Okay. He bought a Pennsylvania farm in 1941
Wow.
and became a gentleman farmer.
A gentleman farmer?
Right?
What, does he wear a tuxedo while he's out plowing the fields? What does that even
Certainly.
mean? What does that mean?
I think he's like dabbling in it while he worked on films. So in between,
I guess that must be a pretty peaceful life.
I think so.
That's
Yeah,
nice.
That is nice.
I'm glad he had that.
Me too.
So I'm still using that set of Daniel Smith watercolors I
Oh.
got a little while ago.
Right, okay, good.
But the pans are getting low.
Oh, yeah?
So we may need to order some new paint soon because
Okay.
I'm really enjoying doing the watercolor.
Oh, that's great.
It's a lot of fun.
I'm glad.
Also, I want to
Yeah?
point out, the nose is story
Uh-huh.
accurate, but it's really just here for comedic effects.
Oh, right.
Here is another spot where I could have stopped.
Yes.
Completely sacified with this picture.
Right.
I really dig
Looks
it
great.
as just a watercolor piece.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're all about here.
No.
We're about pushing.
Right?
And
Experimenting.
going forward.
Right.
So I taped him down,
Okay.
and I'm going to paint the background.
Oh, good.
And a little later, I'm going to try an art technique
Okay.
that is invisible themed.
Ooh, intriguing.
Yeah, I got something planned for you.
Good.
You know that The Invisible Man
Mm-hmm.
was the first grown-up novel that I ever read.
Wow.
I was 10 years old,
Oh,
and I
okay.
was visiting my grandparents.
Wow.
And they let me walk to the corner store,
Okay.
and I saw it on the spin rack, a paperback. You know, the guy with the bandages. And
Yeah.
I was like, I have to have this.
Wow.
And I read it, and it was great. I loved it.
That's really edgy for a 10-year-old.
Oh, you have no idea. The stories
My goodness.
I could tell you. Now, again, we could have stopped right here.
Right.
I was perfectly fine with the illustration as is.
Yes.
In fact, I was a little bit scared.
Oh, yeah?
To mess with it.
Of course.
But I had to soldier on.
Okay.
You remember when we did the Green Goblin?
Yes, I
and
do.
I used the rubber cement around his pumpkin bomb
yes.
to create an invisible mask.
Oh, yes.
Well, guess what?
What?
I went out and I got some legit masking fluid.
Okay.
And I thought this would be the appropriate piece to try it on.
Great to try it on.
You know, it's about masking things. It's about covering something up. It's about hiding something and then revealing it later.
Right.
So that's what I'm going to do.
Awesome.
Now, because you never really see Claude Rains in the movie.
Oh, right.
One of the most chilling aspects of his character is that maniacal laugh.
Oh, yes, it is.
And I wanted to put that in the piece.
That's great.
So I didn't want to draw on the paper.
Okay.
The ha 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 ha.
Oh, right.
So I just drew it on another piece of paper, put it on a light box.
Oh, very smart.
And then masked on top of the paper.
That's great.
You know, it's actually pretty cool that Claude Rains, the Invisible Man, spent his final years here in Pennsylvania on a nice little farm.
No.
No?
No. He spent his final years in, get this, Sandwich, New Hampshire.
Sandwich?
Yeah.
Why would anyone go from gentleman farmer to Sandwich?
I know. The divorce.
Ah, divorce.
Yes.
His old nemesis.
Right? Poor guy.
Oh, boy. So once the mask was dry, I started slopping more paint on this.
Oh, good. Okay.
And I gotta tell you, I was a little nervous.
Oh, yeah.
Because I didn't know how the experiment was gonna turn out.
Right? Yeah, how did it turn out?
Well, I'll tell you what. You know how the Invisible Man's experiment turned out great,
right.
although he did have to kill a few people along the way?
Yes.
Well, this experiment with the masking fluid turned out great,
Yeah.
although I did tear up a little bit of the paper. It's very, very strong. The adhesion is very strong. But I just went back in with a little bit of paint.
Okay, that's good.
And touched up those areas, and I think it looks great.
Oh, nice.
So let's take a look.
Okay.
There he is.
Nice.
The Invisible Man.
That is great.
I'm really glad I pushed forward with
I
this
am too.
masking thing.
Yes, I am too.
That's a nice looking piece.
It really is.
I'm really glad that we're experimenting with all this new stuff.
Yeah.
Because
exciting.
it's making me do things that I wouldn't normally have done.
That's true.
And I'm having a lot of fun.
Good.
This is fantastic.
It's awesome.
So here's my take on Claude Rains.
Yes.
Actor.
Yes.
Gentleman farmer. Big fan of marriage, apparently.
Resident of Sandwich.
Oh, yes, yeah. And the Invisible Man.
Yes.
Are we still going?
Yes.
Jeez, this is a long ending. My gosh.